Hey, what's up, guys? As kind of a follow up to my last video, I actually wanted to make one showcasing my political predictions for this upcoming election. Please remember to drop a like, subscribe, whatever that kind of business is. But I just kind of wanted to go over an interactive map, kind of explain my choices for how I think every state's gonna go. For kind of a little, what am I gonna talk about? Oh, for kind of a little like preface, the dark blue I think is just going to be safe. Kind of more moderate blue is kind of a likely, and then a lighter blue is like it's leaning that way, but it's not necessarily there. And then it's the same for the Republican side. A more pinkish color means lean, a more moderate red means likely, and a darker red means safe. So I think we can just go out of the way and get some of the more basic ones already out of the way. So like we know California is gonna be more Democratic. Um, we know Mississippi, Alabama, gonna be Republican. We know most of this area of the United States is gonna be more Republican. Arkansas is gonna be Republican. And then for more of the swing states, um, I'm gonna keep Texas as a toss up just because I want to go into that later. The Beto O'Rourke election actually makes it really interesting because it shows that there's a large growing Democratic minority in Texas. Austin is obviously an extremely progressive city, and just that type of thing. So let's go back into it. Colorado is going to be more Democratic. Another interesting state is Georgia. I'm gonna touch on that later. Hawaii is gonna be more Democratic. Alaska is going to be Republican 99% of the time. A state like Indiana is gonna go Republican. West Virginia is gonna go Republican, barring a miracle. Um, the Dakotas usually go Republican. Nebraska's weird. Nebraska, Maine, we're gonna do later. The Pacific Northwest, that's usually more Democratic. New Mexico's Democratic. And then states like Oklahoma are going to go Republican. And so that leaves usually like. Oh, also New York is more liberal. Let me get that out of the way. So that leaves so far the Democratic states 121 to 63. Florida's interesting. Florida right now is in a weird place in terms of politics just because the recent arrest of Andrew Gillum. I think if Andrew Gillum had not gotten arrested, then it would be a lot closer. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I believe also they have a large Hispanic population, a large African American population. I believe after the election of 2016 that they will be more inclined to vote. Um, I'm gonna go leaning blue for Florida, which puts their total at 150, Republican at 63. Iowa, Iowa's always gonna be a swing state. I do believe that it's gonna go for Biden just because he's going to kind of work on the mistakes that Hillary kind of failed to do. They didn't campaign much in the North last election. That's really why Hillary lost a key state like Wisconsin and Michigan, which are usually two Democratic leaning states. I believe in this simulation, Wisconsin and Michigan are both going to go for the Democrats just because of their large workers' party, their large amount of workers who work in steel plants. I actually have family who works in General Motors, so and they have a large amount of people who work in the plants and type of thing. So I believe that's going to be key for it going Democratic. Kentucky is going to go Republican. Tennessee is going to go Republican, barring a miracle. Say like Kansas is going to go Republican. Missouri is kind of interesting. I'm going to say it goes Republican, but there's many cities like Kansas City, St. Louis, which have more Democrats, but also Missouri is bigger than those two cities. Let's go Republican. Right now it's 176 to 98. I believe Biden will win Minnesota just because it's a very liberal place. Let's see. So usually the Democrats perform well in a lot of the northern states because that's just how they do. There's a lot of more college educated people. That's not a knock on Republicans, but it's just statistically more college educated people tend to vote Democrat. So Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware. Also, Biden's a senator from Delaware, which actually helps him in this regard. Delaware. Maryland, I'm going to hold off on. My bad. Maryland's interesting just because Baltimore is a very liberal city. I have a lot of white friends from Baltimore who are even liberal, which is interesting. Let's see. D.C. goes Democrat. South Carolina usually goes Republican. And then North Carolina and Virginia, I'm going to hold off for a second. And let me fill out. Vermont, New Hampshire, Mass are all going Democrat. I'm going to say Texas leans red, but I would not be surprised if in the upcoming election that they actually pulled off a shock upset and, turned some heads. It's just very compelling to see Beto O'Rourke and how he lost, but it wasn't like a curb stomp. It was close, and Ted Cruz has been the incumbent for many years. So I'm going to say leans red. So it's 145 to 235. In a state like Illinois, it's extremely blue. 255 already. They need 270 to win. And so that leaves a state like Louisiana to go red. Georgia, ultimately, I'm from Atlanta. I actually think Georgia will go red. Sucks to say. But that just means, and Biden will win Maryland. So that just means Biden just needs to win 5 more electoral votes to win this election. Nebraska, their delegates are kind of weird. Maine usually leans left. So right now he just needs 1. And then I do believe he will win Ohio just because I believe Ohio will swing blue. It kind of alternates, and if they do effective campaigning, it will swing blue. I believe Pennsylvania will swing blue as well. Iowa, I do believe that will swing blue. I think Virginia usually goes blue. But North Carolina, that's also a state that goes blue sometimes. I think that will go red this year. Nebraska will go red. And then Utah will go red. Arizona will go blue. And Nevada will go blue. And that's how I believe this next election will go. Thank you for watching. Please drop a like, subscribe, that type of thing. And thank you.